Hello everyone and happy Saturday. So today I decided to come on and make this video. I've had a request to show how I size down my booties. Not size down my booties, but how I make my booties. And also how I make the mini doll pants. So I decided to come on. First of all, well, I'm not at home. No, I'm not at home. I'm in Nassau. You guys know I'm with my daughter. She's in school. So I decided to bring some stuff. So in my spare time, I can make this video. But first, let me mention this. I've noticed that you can purchase patterns on Etsy because I purchased one. This is the one that I purchased on Etsy, and this is for a 7-inch baby doll. And in this pattern, it has the bib, has a shirt, diaper cover, booties, hat, and a headband. So this is nice for whether you have a little boy or a girl. You can do the headband for the girl, and then you could do the hat for the boy. Of course, you know, the girls have the option for all these items, except the boy. He doesn't have the option for the headband. So, you know, you opt out of the headband for a little boy. But I purchased this because I have my 6-inch full body silicone baby boy by Tori Dolls. So I decided to give this a try. I haven't tried it as yet, but this is the pattern you can buy online from Etsy. And I think it's a good one. It's very clear. This is I printed out some extra patterns here. It has like the diaper, the shirt. This is the booty. This is the headband. This is, oh, no, this is the hat. This is the hat. This is the booty, and this is the sole of the booty. These are the sleeve. Yeah, and then, you know, you make the bow for the headband. So there's certain items you can purchase on Etsy, and then I had cut out. I did cut out. I do plan to make something. I just don't plan to do it right now. The saying that I found that on the Etsy store, I decided to go and purchase it. So if you take your time and you look on your Etsy store, you can find patterns that will help you make something for your mini doll. And the price is pretty good. I paid $11 and change for that, and I think that's pretty good. So here, this is a onesie in a 14-inch that I purchased on Etsy from Wooby Babies. I really love her little items that she make because they're so well done. They're like professionally done. So I love her little items. This is an item that I purchased for Danish, and I always purchase from Wooby Babies. But what I also do is to make little items for my dolls, I use the items I purchase as a guideline to follow. Okay, now I had purchased a few. This is a preemie size Carter's onesie, and what I'm learning with preemie is if you have a mini baby or micro preemie baby, then I think it's best to buy a bigger size onesie, like this preemie size. When I put this 14-inch onesie next to it, see, when I cut this out, I'm not left with any extra material. If I want to make a booties or hat, I'm not left with any extra material. So I'm learning that it's best if I want a hat and booties to go up in size. Like this is a 24-month size, which means that there's lots of material that would be left for booties and a hat. Now, of course, I'm still going to size down the preemie because the preemie is still a bit too big for my micro preemie baby Danish. So it's just that I won't have any extra material left. So let me show you what I'm going to size down. I'm going to size down this 3 months by Cardis. It's a fuchsia pink. And it says happy. The lettering says happy. I'm going to size this down into a onesie and hopefully booties. Because I think I should have, if you notice, I should have enough material left for booties. That's why it's important when you, depending on the size of the baby that you have, if you have a micro preemie 14-inch, then definitely you need a bigger size onesie if you decide to size down. But if you have a small little baby like the 6-inch, because you know I have the 6-inch Tory Dolls baby boy, I could use a preemie size onesie and size that down because he is so tiny. But I'm finding like the 14 inches, if you want extra material, it's best to go up in size. So I'm going to be using this 3-month size onesie. I'm going to size this down. Yeah, I'm going to size that down. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all the seams like I had done in a former video of mine. But you know, saying that I decided that I'm going to make a video of the booties, I decided to just make the video sizing down the onesie the same time. But of course it's going to be multiple videos. The first one is going to be just me telling you what I'm doing. The second video is going to be me taking out all the seams and sizing down the onesie. And then the next video is going to be the booties. I don't think I'm going to do the hat because I'm not much of a hat person. And I don't think I probably have enough material for the hat. Because after I do the booties, I doubt I'm going to have enough material for a hat. But I should have enough for the booties. Yeah. Alright guys. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut going to just cut off this edging straight around. And you know what, I'm taking my time in doing this, and I'm sure I'm not going to do this in just 1 or 2 days. I'm just going to take my time. Okay, so as you can see, I cut off all the seam from the bottom here. Now guys, okay guys, so this is the piece that I cut off. That is just the bottom piece of this onesie that I cut off. And then next I'm going to, normally I cut off everything with the onesie on the wrong side, but anyway, I'll just continue to cut off the seams. See? I might try to speed up this video a bit, just so it doesn't become so boring. And this little piece here, I like to cut this off also. I find that the bigger onesie, like the 14-inch, I find that it's easier to make, or it's easier to size down. The smaller onesie is more difficult to size down. Yeah, the smaller onesies are more difficult. You have to have a special kind of patience when you sizing down those little 6-inch or 5-inch onesies. Okay. And again, I just like to cut off the seam. This little seam. I don't know what you call, I don't know what the professional names are for these items, because like I said, I have no experience. I was never taught to sew. This is just something that I have done just eyeballing. So please excuse that I don't know the proper name for these to describe what I'm doing. I don't know. Okay, now I'm gonna cut off the sleeve. I'm gonna cut off the sleeve. And guys, I am in no way telling you not to purchase the professional outfits, or I'm not telling you not to purchase your outfits from persons like Wooby Babies on Etsy, the professional persons. I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm telling you to do that, because I love doing it. I love purchasing their little items. But we all know how expensive it is, and it's you know, it helps, and it makes the little minis more enjoyable when you can make something for your mini yourself. So I'm not telling you not to purchase. Go ahead and purchase, because that's what I do. I purchase. I do. I enjoy the cute little outfits from the professionals, but at the same time I also like to save $1. So when I can make something myself, then I'm also saving, because these little outfits, I'm telling you, is not cheap. They're not. Okay, now I'm gonna cut off the seam. And what's also good to do in advance, like if you plan to size down a onesie, it's good to prep in advance. You just do this a day or two before you decide to sew, just to cut back on the time. Okay. All right, guys, so I have taken out all of my seams. This is the back of the onesie. This is the front. This is the sleeve. And this is the lower portion of this onesie. This is the lower portion of the onesie. Yeah, this is the lower portion. All right, guys. So I've taken out all of the seams. So next I'll come back and I'll show you how I cut down the onesie to this size, which is the 14-inch. Because actually what I'm doing, I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm showing you how I size down my onesies, and I need to size down a few onesies for my micro preemie Danish and also blemish. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. All right, guys, I'll be back. Hello, everyone. So I'm back. Actually, I didn't realize that when I traveled, I didn't pack the correct color thread for this onesie. I asked my husband to take me because where I live, the traffic is awful. Nassau is the smallest island in the Bahamas, and it is most populated. It's like, I can't even tell you. It's crazy. Traffic is crazy, and I am afraid to drive by myself, you know, long distance. I don't mind in the area. My daughter's school is in the area, so I can drive her to school and back. But any place else, I'm afraid, you know. Anyway, yeah, my husband, he was so nice. He took me to get some thread, so I was able to purchase this thread. It's the fuchsia pink to match the onesie. And then I had purchased this color thread for another onesie. Oh, let me just show you. I intend to size, this is a preemie size. I intend to size this down. So I got this brown thread to match. And then I have some other onesies here, so I'll just show you those too. I bought another thread. I bought this light color pink for something else. It almost looked like it can go with this, but the fuchsia one I think goes better. Yeah, see, there's a difference in color. Yeah, so it's best when you are sizing down or sewing. You're sizing down any little outfit or sewing, it's best to match the thread with the material. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna size this down. I'll probably size this down into a little shirt because it has a pants to match, and I think I'm gonna like this outfit as a shirt and a pants, but I'm gonna have to size those down. All right, so I'm back. Yeah, so let me show you the needle that I'm using. Guys, I'm not young. This is the needle. I'm in my 50s, so my eyesight is not the best. Plus, I cannot see close up. I cannot. So I had purchased these needles a while back, and actually where I live is night, and you know, I'm using my light. I hope the clarity is pretty good. But these needles are a lifesaver for me. They're very, very easy to thread. So if you can find this instant thread hand needle, it's just like a little slit in the middle, and you just push the thread in there, and that's it. Really, really easy. So I'm gonna thread this. I'm gonna thread that needle. But okay, let me show you where I'm at now. You know what? I was supposed to show you guys. Here, I better show you this first. Okay. This is the lower piece around the edge of the onesie. The snap for the onesie. This is the lower piece that I had cut off. And it's very important to, okay, I'm gonna have to re-sew this back on, but I find that unless I take the material out of this, because this is like 4 material together, and it makes it kind of thick. So I prefer, this is just me, I prefer to cut along, I don't know if you can see it, the thread. There's one stitch of thread here, and there's one in the back. I prefer to cut the inner thread. I prefer to cut that and then take the material out. So anyway, I'm gonna cut this whole thing up to the snap. Here's the snap, because where the snaps are, I'm not gonna be able to use that. So I'm gonna cut that off. Okay, so there's the snap, and then I'm gonna cut the other side. Okay, so this I'm gonna throw away. That's gonna throw away, and then this end with the snaps I'm gonna cut off and throw away. That's no use to me, so I'm gonna throw that away. So now I just have 2 long pieces. Now what I'm going to do is, and guys, I might size down this onesie a little bit different from my first video showing how I size down onesie. It might be a little different, but the results is the same. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut the thread, the inner thread, and when I cut the thread, I use the stitching. When I cut the stitching, then I open it up, and I take out the material on the inside. So I'm gonna continue to do that and come right back just to save time. Okay, so I have done the first material. I took out the inside. Now I want to show you the second material. I cut off, this is the piece that I cut off, and now I have to go on the inside, see? And then sometimes the stitching is still stitched together, so you would have to take your scissors and go in and just finish cut open the seam very carefully, and then you take the inside material out. Like this is the inside material, you take this out, and this is just so that this lining is not so bulky. Okay, see, this is still stitched. Oh, okay. All right. Just to give you a better, cleaner stitching. And sometimes this is pretty messy because you have to clean up the edges, the little thread. You have to clean this off. So this could be a bit messy, but you just have to be patient. And I'm also going to need a piece of this that's left behind. I'm gonna need for the booties. Now I'm learning, looking at this, I had already sized a 3-month size onesie down today. And I was surprised that I really had no leftover material for booties. So I think what I would need to do if I want to size down onesies and have matching booties, I would need to go with nothing smaller than a 6-month size. Okay, so I've taken out all the inside material and I've cleaned up the edging. Okay, so I'm gonna rest this on the side. Now, see, this is my onesie. I cut off the sleeves, all the seams I took out. The sleeves, I took off this area here of the snaps, the neck sleeve, and now I have it, all these little mess, guys, excuse that, that's from the fags from the material. Yeah, okay, so now I need to save as much of this material as I can because I may not have extra material for the booties. So I'm gonna do my best, even if I have to make the booties a little bit smaller just to show. All right, so okay, so this is the onesie, and again this is a 14-inch onesie that I had purchased on Etsy from Wooby Babies. And what I like to do with my micro preemie and my mini silicone babies, I like to buy outfits from the professionals, and I'm calling the professional persons like Wooby Babies on Etsy, or anyone that's on Etsy, anyone who makes these little outfits and sell it. I'm calling them professionals. I have no experience. You know, I'm just eyeballing everything. So this is the 14-inch onesie that I had purchased. And so what I'm doing now, I have this onesie set up on the right side. On the right side. And I have the neckline, the front, the neckline is a little lower. The back is a little higher. And then I'm gonna just set this onesie in front. I'm folding in the arms because I wanna cut. I wanna use this onesie as a guideline to cut to size it down. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so I need, like I said, I need to save as much of this onesie as possible, or as much of the material as possible. So here I am. So I'm cutting pretty close to this onesie. But guys, if you're trying this yourself, I recommend, depending on the size of the onesie that you're using as a guideline, I recommend a bigger size onesie that you're sizing down, and then you would have extra material for the booties or hat. but I'm cutting very close because I'm trying to save some material, because I just thought 3-month size would be sufficient, but I don't think so. So for anyone who decides to use my instructions, I'm not a professional, and I would suggest that you give yourself a little space on the side. But the reason why I'm so close to the edge is because I need to save as much of this material as possible. All right, so now I need to just continue. I shouldn't turn that up. I need to continue following that so you guys can see what I'm doing. But what I should have done, anyway, it's too late now. Okay. So this is the material that's left for me to make the booties. It's not very much, but I'll have to make that work somehow. But I was about to say what I should have done was I'm folding back the back piece, and I'm cutting the front of the onesie, following this to the front. This is the front, not the back, just so that the front is a little bit shorter. Yeah, so that's what's left of my onesie. Okay, now okay, so this is the front of the onesie, and this is the back. So the back have a tail. You see, the back have a tail. The back is longer than the front. The back is longer than the front. So now what I need to do is, now this is the tricky part. The tricky part is in the neckline. Very, very tricky. The neckline, this is the neckline. Yeah, that's the tricky part. Hey guys, you know, my camera had cut off. I don't know where I was at when it cut off, but okay, let me show you what I done. So what I done is I use the professional onesie as a guide to cut the onesie that I'm sizing down. See, and if you notice this onesie, the front of the onesie, this front is short and the back have a tail. I also done the same with this onesie. The front is shorter and the back have a tail. You see? So now my concern is the arms, the sleeves. I just need to cut just a little piece for the sleeve. I'm trying to measure the sleeve. This is the tricky part. I have it cut so close, but anyway. Let me try this. Nope, let me try this. Turning it this way. Because Lawrence said something very interesting today. He said that our attack is going to be very surprising, and the Iranians are not going to know what hit us. Remember, the Haniyeh assassination is still subject to debate how it happened, but I think this is the most work in sizing down the onesie. The adding on the sleeves and the neckline being done correctly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I think it's gonna be best if I just put it on the wrong side. So inside, this is the inside, and no, this is the outside, this is the back, and this is the front, and I'm lining them up. Guys, like I said, I'm not a professional, and trust me, it's all about trial and error. There are times when I have to undo things and redo it, so just bear with me. And I just need to cut a little piece for the arm right here. Okay, so this is, I have the onesie inside out. It's inside out. And now I'm lining up the onesie. I just need to cut this arm. Just a little piece. Follow the seam. I'm following this seam. So just a little piece. So that's a little piece there. And now I need to cut the other. Okay. So what I done is I followed the seam of the arm. So now I can move this, and let me show you the sleeves. This is the sleeves. But first, what I need to do is I need to pin down the neckline. These are my pins. So you would need some pins. It's a little Velcro I have here that I'm saving. Alright, so definitely you need the pins. You need to line up the neck. Okay, you want your neckline to look like this when it's done. It's important that this is curved on the outside of your onesie. Can you see? You need your neckline to look like this. So you have to take your time. I'm putting this on the inside. And you know, I find that when you size down the bigger onesies, it's a little bit easier than the smaller onesies. So I'm using the pin. This is the pin just to hold it in place. This is the next pin. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this over just to see if I've done it correctly. And as you can see, no, I haven't. Like I say, it's trial and error. No, see, I done it wrong. So now, thank goodness I didn't sew it, because if I had sewn it, I would have to undo all of that. But, okay. So now, what I need to do is, I need to do the reverse. So actually, I'm lining this back up. And then I think it's best that I do it this way. Yeah, because it's important for this seam to be on the front rather than the back. Okay. See there? This seam, that's important. That determines whether your onesie is done correctly. Okay, so now I'm gonna pin that. And I'm gonna pin this now. Okay, and so when I sew this, it's gonna look like that when I sew the sleeves on. And okay guys, so I'm adding the sleeve on. Now my camera had cut off and I don't recall where I left off, but I'm adding on the sleeve. And I have to sew it on the wrong side. This is the right side, this is the wrong side. Okay. So I'm just gonna pin this in place. And then the next sleeve, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm sewing it on the wrong side, because when I turn it over on the right side, let me make sure this is even. Okay. I like to use the crease as a guideline in the middle of the sleeve at the neckline. Okay. Now I need to thread my needle. Okay, this is my needle. I'm going to change this thread to my fuchsia thread, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm noticing that my sleeves are a little long. Like, it seems like there's a little piece that I can cut off, but I don't want to just cut it off. So I just measured the sleeve from in the middle. I also pinned the sleeve on first, just so that I don't make any accidents. I don't want to sew on the sleeve and it's not done correctly. This way, if it's not correct, I could take the pins out and start over, because it's really difficult to have to cut the thread once it's sewn. So I choose to do it this way, and in doing it this way, you can get an idea of what the onesie is looking like before you sew it, before it's permanent. So this is the onesie. This is the onesie. You notice the neckline? These are all the pins. This is the neckline. The neckline is done correctly. Now the sleeve, like I say, is a little bit long, but that's okay. What I did is I measured the sleeve in the middle. So as I sew, I'll just cut this little piece off, or just sew it, either way, just so that the front is done correctly. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and sew the sleeve. But guys, listen, I was trying to thread, not thread, but I was trying to I took off the plastic. I was trying to find like where the thread, because normally it would kind of have a thread stuck in on the side, like that looks like it's it, like that is it, the thread, but I couldn't get it. So I had to cut one of the thread and just make my own starting point. So now I'm gonna go ahead and thread my needle. This is my needle, and I'm just gonna show you that for someone like myself that has terrible eyes, that cannot see close up, all you do is you just line the thread on the top of the needle. It's like a little slit on the top of the needle. See there? And that's it. Now my needle is thread. So you guys probably know about this, but I was just so excited to find it where I live. Yeah. Okay. I was so excited to find it. And then at the end of the thread, I just need to make a little knot. And guys, I also watch a lot of videos. That's very helpful. Like when you watch videos on how to sew baby clothing, that's very, very helpful. Okay, so again, I'm sewing on the wrong side, because when I'm done sewing on the wrong side and I turn it over, then it's gonna look, it's going to look proper. Okay, Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to sew this and then I'll be back. All right, 1 minute, I'll be back. Hey guys, so I'm back. I charged my battery a bit. I wanted to come back on. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to sew back the snap on the end of the onesie. First, let me measure to see which piece is longer, because I'm gonna need the longer piece on the tail, because this is longer than the front onesie. Okay, so this one is shorter. Rest that to the side, and this one is a little longer. Now guys, there's a trick to this. This is stretchy, so what I recommend is, as you sew, you stretch this a little. I'm saying a little, and it's going to give it like a gathered look in this area here, and also this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this onesie, the professional onesie, just to examine how this is sewn on, so that I can copy that. Yeah, so that I can copy that. And see, if you notice with this onesie, this is kind of like gathered in. That's because the seamstress kind of stretched this as she sewed it on. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna sew the bottom piece on first. But first I want to make sure, I have to examine this to see how it's done, so I could sew it on correctly. Okay, so I think it's done this way, so that when I iron it down, it's gonna look like a clean, what's the word I'm looking for? Let me see, make sure I'm doing that correctly. Yeah, you can see the rough work here, but not here. Or am I doing that right? Okay, no, I think I need to do it like this. This is it, so that when I turn it over, you don't see the rough work. Okay, that's the correct way. Like I say, guys, it's trial and error. You have to be so careful when you're sizing down. You have to pay attention. Well, for me that is, because I'm not a professional. It's so easy to make a mistake. All right, so I'm gonna start to sew. Start to sew this, and you want to sew it very close up here. You want as much space down here left when you add the snap on also. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew this all the way around, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished sewing on. If you notice the way it's sewn. So now I have this extra piece of material left, and I'm going to need this for the booty, so I'm gonna cut this off right there. I'm gonna need this for the booties. So now what I need to do is, oh, I need to cut my thread. Yeah. And then I need to iron this so that this could stay down, so the back of it could look well done. See? Likewise, like I said, I like to compare with the professionals. You notice the back of it. See? On the inside, you can see the rough work. Likewise, the inside, you can see the rough work. Okay, now I need to do the same to the upper front onesie. So I'm learning never to rely on your own memory, because you're going to find that many times if you do that, you're going to have to correct your work. You're going to have to undo it or cut the thread and redo it, because it's so easy to make a mistake. So now I need to just verify how this is done. Okay, so the clean work is on this outside here, and the rough work is on the inside. Okay, so with this, okay, the clean work would be on the outside. Okay, so I need to sew it like this. If you notice, yeah, so once it's finished sewn and I flip this over and I iron that, this is gonna look clean like that. Okay, so I'm going to put you on pause to save time, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm done sewing this, and I have this leftover material again, what I will be needing for my booties. Cut that off. So now I have this for my booties, and so all I need to do now is I need to iron this. I need to iron that down and iron this. Oh, I didn't cut my thread. Okay. So let me show you the professional onesie. So this is the professional onesie. Now it's not, I guess, it's not perfect, but it does the job. See, I just need to iron it so it can fall properly. So let me go ahead and iron it, and then I'll be back. Okay, so it's ironed. This is what it looks like when it's ironed. So what I need to do now is put it on the wrong side, and I need to sew it from the sleeve, come straight down. Then from the sleeve, come down. Put it on the wrong side. This is the wrong side. And you need to line this up where it's lined up, because you have to sew. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sew it from this end, come around, because keep in mind that the sleeve was a little bit long. Remember when I cut this area of the sleeve, Right, so the sleeve is a little longer. So what I need to do is this extra material, I'm gonna have to cut that off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to sew above that all the way down. Well, I'm gonna start from here because I want to make sure that this is even, like where the end of the back onesie to the front onesie is even. I'm gonna sew this, come all the way up, and then I'm gonna sew it to the sleeve, and that way this little piece I can just cut that off after. And likewise, I'm gonna sew this side from this side all the way up to the sleeve, and then I'll be back. Because again, this side also, the sleeve, there's extra material. So I'm gonna sew this, and then I'm just gonna sew the sleeve and then cut this extra material off. So I'll be back. All right, guys, I'll be back. All right, guys, so this is my gun. I don't know what's the proper name for it. But anyway, I'm gonna go and add this snap onto my onesie. Right here. It's best to try to center it. I guess it's best to mark it, but I don't know. I don't have anything to mark it, but anyway. So I just stamp it on tight. Okay, so there it is. That's the first one. And next I need to do this piece here. So let me load my gun again. Okay. Right there. So it's actually 2 pieces for this and 2 pieces for that. So now I'm gonna add this piece on. Okay, there it is. And then you just snap that. So there it is, guys. There's the onesie. So there is the onesie. And this is the professional onesie that I use as a guideline, as an example. There it is. And of course, the professional is much nicer. Hey, definitely much nicer. But like I said, that's okay. I think it's okay. All right, guys. And this took a while. This took you have to take your time. You want to make sure not make mistakes, especially in the neckline area, because then you would have to take out all the seams and you'll have to do it over again. Yeah. All right, guys. So that's it for my onesie, and next I'm gonna come on and I'm gonna make the booties. And again, I'm going to use the professional booties as a guideline for me to follow. Yes, guys. So I'll be back. Bye-bye.